Good afternoon, everybody. This is Tina Esparza. I'm with Cascades Healthcare, the corporate event coordinator. And today I am talking with Dan. So Dan and I had a conversation last week about preserving independence. And after our recording ended, we basically ended up sitting on a phone call for about 25 minutes, just organically talking about more issues that are around preserving independence and what we can do to help our parents. So I invited Dan back. Dan, thank you for coming back. I know you're a busy guy, but thank you for joining me again.
Yeah, thanks, Tina. It's great to be here.
So when we were talking offline, again, we were just having this organic conversation and we were just talking about different scenarios. Let's focus on one of those right now because I feel like it's pretty important to take up the majority of our time, and then we'll bring you back on for part 3.
Oh, sure.
But why don't you talk to us about that and help us understand some more of the scenarios?
Yeah, this is really great because as we talked last time, we talked about some ideas and overarching principles, right? But we didn't really get the chance to see them in action. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what does this really look like? And we talked a little bit about your family, and sometimes because it was you and I just visiting, right? But there's some common things that happen within families that relate to independence. And the first big one that comes to mind that almost every family sees or comes to is this idea of, okay, sooner or later, mom, dad, they're going to have to stop driving, right? And who doesn't dread that conversation and that idea? Because how do you approach somebody who, particularly a man, right, who has built his life around this idea that, was 16 years old, they got their driver's license, they worked their butt off, got a car, and suddenly the world was theirs to own, right? It opened the world to dating, it opened the world to girls, it opened the world to traveling with your buddies, to hanging out, to cruising on Friday night. All of these things that just opened this world of independence to a person. And suddenly here is this individual who you can see as a child, or others can see, that, okay, the days of this person driving are coming to an end because it's just not safe anymore. And for most of us, at least most of the experiences that I see, they come down to a couple of things, right? It comes down to the kids or someone in the family calling the doctor and saying, "Doc, look, my dad should not be driving anymore. Next time we come in, can you address this and deal with it?" And then the doctor has to tell them or do something. The other idea people will see is, okay, well, when does dad's license expire? How can we manage until this time? We'll take him back in. He won't pass the test, and boom, done deal, right? And then the third thing we see is families just come in and say, okay, boom, we're done. You're done. I don't know where your keys are. I'm taking your keys. We're doing this because we love you, kind of thing. Now, all 3 of these situations are done with good intent, right? None of them are done out of not caring. But if we flip that coin a little bit and we look at the other side, what does the person in all 3 of those scenarios feel like when that happens? Do they feel more empowered, or do they feel less empowered? Do they feel more independent or less independent? In every situation that exists there, whether it's the doctor, whether it's the driving test, whether it's the kids or family taking keys, it is them left feeling like, I can't do this anymore. This is one thing that's created independence for me, that's defined independence for who I am, that helps me realize that I am worth something, and suddenly it's been taken from me by somebody else. Now, that was one of the key things we visited about, right? Was anytime somebody else tells you what you're going to do, immediately you feel empty. You feel not worth, you're not validated, you're not independent, and it's not empowering. And this is a challenge we come to. So we like to talk about that. And you and I had some time visiting about it and say, okay, how do we make that look different? How does that go differently? Because it's not something we look forward to. So we're not generally proactive in that conversation. Well, I like to relate to things that are going on in the world and what's happening. So I say to people, how often do you feel that our president, President Trump, drives himself around? Now, regardless of how you feel and your political affiliation, we can all agree that he doesn't drive himself around. And not only does he not drive himself around today, chances are for the past 30 years, 40 years, he hasn't driven himself around, right? It's no. Now, has anywhere along the line that made him feel less independent, less capable, less empowered? No. He chose that for himself. So literally he empowered himself to make that decision to have someone drive him around. And because of that, he felt more independent. How can we take that same example and apply it to us as we age? And we had the chance to kind of visit about it one-on-one, but for all of the folks listening, they say, okay, how do we take this principle and apply it in our life with our family, with the challenge we're coming to? And it really means we start planning ahead. We start recognizing and encouraging family, our parents, and those who are aging to see that they have the right to choose what they do in the future, right? That, you know what, driving isn't the thing that is important to them. The independence is important to them. So if they can be empowered to the idea that they have earned the right, or the ability to have somebody drive them around, they deserve that because they've earned it in their life. Suddenly they have empowered themselves to make that decision. Now, sometimes people aren't willing to do that, right? That's just a difficult conversation to have. But we start off early and we interject with, hey, Mom, you know, I see you out there doing some things, or this is coming up. I'd love to come pick you up, take you to dinner because I want to spend some time with you. And you start putting those things in there. Slow pace. Suddenly things happen. Mom calls up, oh, I got to go do this next week. And you're like, you know what? I have some time off. I'd love to do that with you. Can I come get you? And we don't do it 3 times a week to where it's peculiar. We start off slow and we build our way up. And pretty soon, a few months go by, 6 months, a year goes by. And hey, it's totally comfortable because they chose to do it. Right? It doesn't have to be, oh, you don't have a nice car. Oh, I want you to have air conditioning. Oh, I just want to be there for you and I want to spend time with you and let's go do this together. And the idea of them allowing somebody else to do things for them is acceptable because it happened on their terms in a comfortable way. That is one great example of how we can work together to help preserve and empower others in a difficult transition so that when they get to that point, it's no longer, okay, Mom, give me your keys. Okay, Mom, do this. It's, you know, I don't feel so good about this anymore. Again, they're making the decision. They're stronger. Would you help me out? Yeah, of course you would. Because they're not intimidated by you.
Yeah.
They know at this point you're willing to do things because you care and they love that time together. And that time together is way more valuable than anything else. So one great example we all go through, and I thought that'd be a great way to see some of the principles we talked about in use, right? And how we can empower those conversations.
Well, and what I like about it, and we have to wrap up here pretty quick, but it's not, like you said, harsh. It's still creating a bond, a relationship, a trust. And that's going to be important no matter what type of personality that you're going to be dealing with as your parents continue to age. It's creating that bond, the trust. And I think people really need to understand that, again, the resources that you have will help us get to that as well. So really quick, tell us how we can get a hold of you again, and we will schedule part 3 for next week.
Awesome. Well, folks, of course, you can check things out online at simplyseniors.news.com. You can email me, Dan, at simplyseniors.news.com, or jump on the website, hit contact. It'll send me an email. I'm happy to reach out, talk with you, anything we can do. I love to help people and all that we do in our industry, and we have a great opportunity to serve those who have done amazing things in our life. So let's do it together.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much again for your time, Dan. And thank you for everybody out there watching today. Again, if you have any questions, please let Dan or I know, and we'll be there to help you out. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you and see you next time. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.